Hey guys, what's up? Today is Tuesday. Rob here, City Fam offices coming at you. I want to do my weekly vlog and I'm just going to jump right into it. So, just coming off a big weekend, we had someone come in from out of town, a girl named Nicole Richard. Very sweet girl from the Houston area, came in to pay us a visit. She is one of our soon-to-be chapter leads from the Houston area, and she found one of my videos on YouTube and came into town this weekend. She actually stayed in DC but took the train up almost every day and got to spend some time with us because she was wanting to meet everybody and just, you know, learn more about this culture that she had only seen on seen videos of and posts about. So actually, if you're watching this video on YouTube, I'm going to go ahead and edit some clips in right now of our time together this weekend.
Yes, hello.
What's up?
How are you?
Oh, good, how are you?
Yes, you
What's
did.
up? I'm here with Nicole.
Hi.
She just got in from Houston. She is one of our chapter leads down there, and she came up to pay us a visit and see what everything was all about.
It's a beautiful city.
We're going to take her through a little process today where we're going to kind of show her our org chart, show her some of the systems, and then we're going to take her to a social event on Saturday where she can meet some of the City Fam people. So are you excited?
I'm so excited. I can't wait to meet you. I'm so good. How are you?
How was your trip?
Hi. Oh, it's good to see you.
You too.
All right, what's up guys? I'm sitting here with Nicole.
Hi.
She is from Houston, Texas, and she
Yes.
is our soon-to-be City Fam chapter lead down there along with another girl, Iona.
Yes, we love Iona.
And I just wanted to ask her a few questions, so just to learn a little bit more about you and let the people that are watching learn a little bit more about you. So,
Okay.
how did you find City Fam?
I saw the infamous video, the 10 reasons not to have sex until you're married.
Okay, that's good. That's what a lot of people are coming from
Yeah.
YouTube.
Mhm.
So, like, were you looking for videos on not having sex? Or?
No. That's weird. I think you're supposed to not put that in your search, but
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. I think maybe it had been other things that I was searching, and you know how when you look at some things, like maybe it was a podcast from someone or whatever it might have been, and then that just came up in my feed. Stop.
No, but what's crazy is, like, I've had people tell me that before. They're like, I don't even know how this was in my recommended videos. So I totally...
So it's not just me.
Yeah, it just started popping up all over, but that's crazy. So what attracted you to the organization, to City Fam?
Well, initially I was really just looking for a place to be single and not feel like everyone I talked to wanted to hook up. And so I thought maybe this group in Baltimore had some groups in Houston, and there weren't any. So I think we started off having a couple of conversations about the possibility of doing that, and I was like, not me. Like, I just really want to go. And months later, I think we finally ended up in conversation about what Houston could look like.
Yeah. So we had several people reach out from Houston, all within a couple month period, and we just kind of introduced everybody, and you guys have met how many times now?
Well, we're on our 8th meeting, but we're on week 4 or 5
Okay.
of our actual study.
Okay, awesome. So
yeah.
they've already had a social event.
Yes.
You have a service event planned?
We do. It's on November the 17th.
Us, you know, the reason that service is such a big piece is, like, for me, when I started volunteering, when I was kind of coming out of my former way of life, it really helped me to heal and to like myself again. And you know, it's hard to get into volunteering, like, if you're not, especially if you're not a member of a church, or if you don't work for like a big you know, Blue Cross and Blue Shield or some kind of company that organizes events for you. So we kind of make it fun, we make it easy, and what you see is when people start giving back, they legitimately become a better version of themselves, a different person sometimes even. And so that's why we're really passionate about service, almost more for the person that we're volunteering with. For me, at least, more of the person I'm volunteering with and the person I'm volunteering for. Like, I get more excited about the person that I'm next to than I do than I do even the person that I'm serving sometimes, because I know that I'm going to see their life change. So which
Never thought about that.
yeah, it's
actually.
really cool. You'll see. You'll see.
Yeah.
So what else do we want to talk about?
Dinner.
Yeah, that's good. All right, we're out. Keep rolling. So anyway, she came into town this weekend. It was amazing. Really sweet girl. She's around 40. I don't know her exact age. I want to say she's around 40. She's in the she's a mortgage banker. She's had 3 kids. They had just all went off to college recently, and she's coming out of a divorce, and she just, you know, was going through a transition in life, and she was looking for community, and she was looking for, you know, something like City Fam, and she found us, and she started a small group down there with another girl named Iona, who's coming to town later this month, and they've had 6 meetings now, 6 weeks that they've met, or actually they met 7 weeks. They met 6 weeks to talk about the book, which is how we're getting people started. We have a curriculum for that. And then they did 1 social event. Now they have a service event planned in Houston in like the next week or 2. And at that point, once they get through those 8 weeks, we're gonna go ahead and create all the social media channels, and we will officially have a City Fam Houston. So by the end of the year, we'll also have a City Fam New York City, it looks like, by the end of the year, which is very exciting. So I know for me personally, I am looking forward to having a reason to go to those places, you know, just to visit everybody. And my dream has always been, you know, to walk into a bar in another city on a First Friday and know that, you know, a renegade, and just know that there's going to be a bunch of other like-minded people there in some city that I've never met before, you know, and just to be able to connect like that. So it was really cool. And if you've been watching my videos for any length of time, you know that I believe God gave me a vision, you know, 16 years ago, and told me that people were going to come from all over the world to see this outside of the box thing that I was part of, or that I was doing. And you know, so this is the first girl now that's came from out of state to Baltimore to see it and be part of it. Actually, there was a girl from Boston. I'm sorry, so she's not the first girl. She's actually the second person. So we had a person from Boston come in over the summer to spend a weekend with us. So needless to say, it's exciting. I posted a link today on my Facebook, and it was talking about depression. And it says that depression is on the rise amongst everyone, basically. The number's going up. And, you know, there's tons of studies out there that talk about the cure for depression and even addiction is community. It's just like having things to do and people to do them with, but healthy things to do and good people to do them with. When you have those things, I'm telling you, as a person that was an addict, that was addicted to several different things, it's just, I don't want to say it's easy, but it kind of is easy. Like, it's easy to stay out of trouble when you have other things to do besides the wrong thing. It's easy to not get into a relationship because you're thirsty when you have things to do because you're not willing to settle, because you have great friends and things to do. So, you know, that's why I'm so passionate about City Fam and why I encourage people to come out and get plugged in. And, you know, like, I had a friend today, actually. I dropped a friend off at the hospital today. He was drinking. He was on a bender, and, you know, he had to get a medical clearance before he could go to the recovery house. And, you know, he just has been MIA. He plugged in a little bit to City Fam, but he hasn't been around for, you know, months. And he said, you know, I was depressed. And I'm like, look, you got to do the work, bro. You got to do it. You have to treat relationships like it's your job. You can't just, you know, hope to, like, I have to be around personally. Now, I'm not saying this is everybody, because some people are introverts, but I got to be around people, you know, like, that fills my tank. That fills me up, is to be around people like once a week. You know, I have to socialize, but I have to have healthy social activities, healthy social outlets. You know, I gotta get up early. I gotta spend some time with God. I gotta read a little bit. I gotta you know, do a little life coaching. I gotta go to church every Sunday. I gotta volunteer, you know, somewhat regularly. All those things are part of the whole process, the recovery process. And it's not really complicated, but it ain't easy. It's not easy to continue doing it over and over. It's just like going to the gym. You just gotta kind of do it. You know, like I don't go to the gym because I like it. I just know that I'm going to get out of shape, which is going to cause me to be depressed if I don't go. So I don't want to be out of shape and suffer depression. It's the same thing. Just do the work. You know what I mean? So when I see people that are suffering, it's just a lot of time it's because they didn't do the work. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying it's everybody. Some people have medical conditions, but I still know that if they did the work and they were still suffering depression, then, you know, of course, maybe medication or whatever. But if you're not doing the work, then you have to do that first. That's the very first thing. And what that looks like, it's all self-development. It's all personal. It's all the hard stuff, you know? Like, it's hard stuff in the moment that reaps dividends later. Anyway, I'm going to get off of that soapbox. So it was exciting to have her here. And I'm excited that we're launching a new chapter. So I posted something today about, I just cracked 700,000 views on my YouTube video yesterday, the 10 reasons not to have sex before marriage. So that was pretty exciting. It's climbing, you know, a couple thousand views a day typically. And it's ranked #1 in like all these different categories, like no sex before marriage, waiting to have sex. It's all these different categories. And you know, I get on podcasts sometimes and I tell people, I'm like, look, this is how I used to live. And this is how I've lived now for a long period of time. And I believe that I can explain why it makes sense to wait to have sex better than anyone on earth. And I stand by that because you know, like I've lived it on both sides. So somehow I just learned it along the way because, you know, I was very promiscuous and then I've been abstinent for long periods of time, you know, 2 6-year stretches basically. And somewhere along the way, I just figured it out, and I can break it down very practically. So if you haven't watched the video, check it out, 10 Reasons Not to Have Sex Before Marriage. If you're waiting, awesome, keep going. Seriously, it's the best thing that you can do. It ain't easy, though. It's not easy, but it will be worth it, I believe. If you're not waiting, and you're thinking that there might be value in it, jump on. You know, I promise you, it was the best, outside of Jesus, that was the best decision I've ever made. The second best decision I ever made was waiting because it's impacted my life in so many other ways that I couldn't have never foreseen at the beginning. I would have never been able to know that it was going to impact my life in all these different ways. But it got me sober, you know, the book, all the different things, like, you know, like all the self-improvement, you know. So we launched a No Sex November challenge, which I talked about, I think, last week, and we have, you know, several hundred people that are doing it. I made an Instagram live about it the other day, and I talked a lot about sex transmutation. So if you don't know the term, it was something that I read in a book called Think and Grow Rich, an old success book by Napoleon Hill, and he talks about using your sexual energy for other means and other purposes. Like you can use it to build a fortune, build wealth. You can use it to, you know, for inventions, or, you know, for me, I used it to write the book. I used it to build the nonprofit. I used it for a lot of other things. And it sounds a little like confusing, like sex transmutation. It's kind of like this thing that's kind of lofty, but it's not at all really when you think about it. So like if when you're sexually active, who won the book from last week? It was a girl named, I have to look on my Instagram page. I announced it on Instagram. I have to look. I forget her name. She actually didn't respond to me till like yesterday. So, but you know, if you're chasing the opposite sex, you are using energy for that. If you're using time and energy, if it's going on dates, if it's responding to messages, if it's, you know, whatever, you're using energy. If it's just thinking about that person, you're using bandwidth that you could be using for other things. For me, like, it was so practical. Once I pushed that aside, I was like, okay, I'm waiting to have sex. There was no reason not to work long hours. You know what I mean? Like, for me, I was working 12 or 15 hours a week or a day because I didn't have anything else to do. So that's why we issued this challenge, because a lot of people haven't waited, maybe ever, since they've been sexually active. Like for me, you know, up until I was 27, I had never gone more than probably a couple days without sex. So I wasn't able to see the value till I started. So, you know, we did this challenge, and like I said, we have a lot of people that have jumped on it, and I feel like once people see after 30 days how much further they're able to get to where they want to be, and to accomplish what they want most, and not just what they want right now. Maybe they'll stick with it. So I think, you know, we've kind of started a little movement here. We actually have a group on Facebook called Why Waiting Works Community. We have about 800 and some people in the group, and these are people that are waiting to have sex, and you know, they're in there supporting each other, encouraging each other, and it's really cool. You know, it's great to see the conversations, and it's the most active Facebook group that I've ever been part of. So if you're out there and you're waiting, or you know, maybe you're just thinking about it and you're just getting started, join the group. Send a request, I'll approve you, and you can kind of plug in and find a mentor, find an accountability partner, you know, find the information. Listen, again, I've lived on the other side. It works. You know, maybe you think I'm full of shit. Maybe you're like, what do you know? You know, you were an ex man whore. You know, that's why I know. That's why I know it works, because I rode that. I went all the way to the end of that road, and it doesn't go anywhere. It's a dead end. So I encourage everyone, you know, even if you're in a relationship, look, if you're in a relationship and you're not married, get on it. The best way to audit your relationship is to stop having sex. If that person leaves you because you stop having sex with them, they're not in love with you. If they man up or woman up and they marry you, then they're in love. And then you can have all the sex, right? But I wouldn't want to be with somebody that wasn't in love with me long term anyway. So I know a lot of people out there hear that and they get scared. They're afraid to make that decision. Don't be afraid, because don't you want the real thing? Like, I would want to know. So anyway, no sex November challenge. If you're on it, keep going. It has been getting harder. I'll be honest. We had some people have already, you know, made mistakes and fallen off. 30 days, you know, there's a long time, you know, to not, you know, have sex, not masturbate, not look at porn. But if you haven't made a mistake, keep going. You know, I guess we're almost halfway through. If you have made a mistake, stay on it. Don't use that as an excuse to jump on. If you haven't jumped on, if this is the first time you're hearing about it, get on now. Post a comment, say challenge accepted. You can do it for 30 days from this point on, or you can just go till the end of November. But I promise you will thank me later. So I've been creating more content lately, which I'm really excited about. I don't know how long ago it was probably a month or two ago. I really kind of shifted some things around at City Fam, where I was just like, I'm gonna stop working in the business. Awesome, Christy, good job, proud of you. And I just been focusing on creating more content, more videos, more, you know, blogs, more, you know, interviews. I put up a podcast recently, and I love it. I really do. I love the way I'm spending my time, and I'm good at it. And the more I do it, the more resources we're attracting, the more interviews I'm getting, the more podcasts that are reaching out to me. It's just really good. I feel like this is what I probably should have been doing all along, because I'm really not that great at running the organization. So I'm going to keep going with it, and you're going to, you know, if you're following me on one of these platforms, you're going to continue to see a lot more of it, and hopefully it's benefiting you in some way. So I wanted to talk a little bit about New Year's Eve. It's coming up. We are having a big party at the BWI Hilton. Charm City Countdown, Midnight in Hollywood is the theme. So we just got Ciroc as the sponsor, which I'm super pumped about, because you know, they're a very recognizable premium top shelf brand. So they're going to be sponsoring our event. We actually have a lot of people coming to the New Year's Eve party from the Why Waiting Works community. They're actually flying in, and like several people are flying in from different parts of the country to hang out with us on New Year's. And really, honestly, that's just a testament to City Fam. It's just a testament to the uniqueness of this culture and this movement that we've created, that we've started, that we're still really on the ground floor of, that people are like, because they don't have it. They just don't have it. They don't have it where they are, and they're willing to get on a plane to come here and spend New Year's Eve with us to experience it. So, you know, that really tells us something. I'll tackle that question in a second, Chris. That's a great question. Does abstinence cause any biological problems? but it's really cool. I'm excited for them to come in and get a taste of what it's all about. And I just feel like as people come here and they continue to experience City Fam, they're going to be excited and they're going to go back to their towns and they're going to want to recreate it. And it's great, you know, like it's just this spirit of sacrifice, you know, like I don't know how I would have gotten to this point without my friends. I could have never done what I've done for as long as I've done it without the help of friends. Now, some people find that in church, but a lot of people don't go to church. And even sometimes the people that do go to church, they don't find it there because that's not the culture of that church. Like they could be gossiping about each other and not really, really helping each other. Or maybe they're just not doing anything fun, out on the weekends or whatever. So, Sundays are great, but then you got 6.5 days a week where you're sitting around with your thumb up your ass. Like that's what happened to me. So, we're excited. We're really excited about what we're doing, and just want to keep going with it, basically. So, I guess let me go ahead and tackle that question now, because outside of so we got a Thanksgiving Eve service project next Wednesday. I think all the spots are full, but we do have a wait list up. So if you want to volunteer on Thanksgiving Eve, it really is a great event. I did it last year. We'll be feeding people, homeless, people with mental disabilities. We're partnering with the Goodwill. We're going to be at the Baltimore Convention Center. I want to give a shout out to the City Fam sponsor of the event, Dan Eubanks with Fidelity First. Thank you. If anybody out there is in the market for a home or wants to refinance, please hit him up or inbox me and I'll send you his information. He is sponsoring the event, and I want to, if I can help someone by referring them to him, I would love to do that. But yeah, come out, volunteer. It's a great event. I promise you, you will feel great after. Your Thanksgiving dinner will taste that much better knowing that you fed some people that were hungry and did something good. In December, we're going to be doing something called Blessing Bags. We did it last year, and this was a really cool event. The event isn't up yet, but be on the lookout for it, where we're going to start collecting hygiene items. So like socks, shaving cream, razors, whatever, hygiene items for people that are homeless. And we put together these blessing bags and Ziploc bags, and then we give them to all the people that are volunteering. And actually, you guys go out and you give out the bags to people that you come across, that are homeless. And it was great last year. People really loved it, and they really got a lot of value out of it. And again, just the reason that we do this is because when you start making a difference in the life of another person, your life takes on new meaning. That was a big part of what was able to help me turn things around, was when I started volunteering through the church. I started to like myself again. And that just sped up all the changes and motivated me to become this different person. So I think about people that aren't really given an opportunity to volunteer, if they're not a part of a church, or maybe they don't work for a company that organizes events for them. It's not that easy to get started. So we just want to make it as fun and easy as possible for as many people as possible to get into it, so that they can build healthy relationships and experience the same healing that it's given me. So that's what we're doing. Oh, one last thing before I answer that question. We are planning a retreat, and a City Fam is planning a retreat in, thank you, Patrice, in January. So it's going to be the 4th weekend in January. I think it's the last weekend. So I'm excited to announce that we have a verbal commitment from Stéphane Labossiere. So he's going to be our guest speaker at the event. So I don't know if you know who he is. Maybe you're watching. So he's authored a few books. One of them was God Wears My Boaz, the Man God Has for You, how to get a woman to have sex with you if she's your wife. A bunch of great books he's authored. I actually had the privilege of interviewing him and speaking at his event a couple months ago. So we asked him if he would speak at our retreat, and he gave us a verbal commitment. Yeah, so mark that on your calendar. Basically, the retreat is going to be called Your Best. I don't know what it's going to be called, but it's going to be something along the lines of Your Best Year Ever. So it's going to be like how to get hyper focused on your goals, like to figure out what your purpose is, and then how to get hyper focused on reaching them. So I've never had met with a life coach for the first time, I guess about 6.5 years ago. It was Lori Lockamy, my pastor's wife. And I didn't know any of this stuff before. Like I didn't know anything about life coaching or I just didn't know, you know. And I thought, even when I met with her, I thought life coaching was a waste of time. I just thought it was like, what is a life coach? Like, this is a waste. And I met with her, and it just completely changed my life because it helped me figure out my purpose, and then she held me accountable to do the things necessary to get to where I wanted to go. So anyway, we're going to take people through a weekend process where they can get really laser focused about why they're here and what they want to accomplish this year. And you know, it's great. Again, I've done it a couple times. I did it with her. I did it with a guy named Pete Kolash. I did some coaching with him, and this is going to be the best of all that. So I'm excited. I'm just going personally as a consumer, where I'm just going for myself. But I could have never done the things that I've done without that coaching. Like it helped me with everything, you know. I won't even get into all the details, but it helped me with everything. So I would recommend that. So basically, let me answer your question, Christopher Cruz, before I jump off of here. You said, does abstinence cause any biological problems? So there's a lot of studies on no-fap. If you go to YouTube, NOFAP, no-fap, it's basically no male masturbation. And, you know, people think that you got to ejaculate, right? Or it's healthy to ejaculate. And look, what I know from personal experience is if you don't manually release, if you don't jerk off, your body takes care of itself, right? There's something called nocturnal emissions or wet dreams. Your body will just take care of itself. So, you know, I haven't read anything about any biological problems. I've only read benefits to it, because it's energy. It's like life juice, and when you retain it, you just are able to do more. This is why you see boxers, you know, back in the day, they wouldn't have sex before fights because they knew that there was something to it. And even if you go back to like ancient, like Eastern studies, they talked about, like, you know, masturbating was you know, not good. It wasn't good for your health. So, you know, maybe you would check and find something different. I mean, honestly, if you study anything, you can find two sides of it. So you may find someone that says something else, but look, it ain't easy. I'm talking about using it purposely to accomplish something in your life. I want to have sex again. I'll be honest. When I find that right person, I'm going to have a lot of sex. But right now, I'm using it to my benefit to become the person and set my life up in such a way so that when I find that person and I bring them in, things are the way that I want it to be, you know? So that's what I'm recommending for people. Anyway, that's it. That's what's going on in my life. On a personal level, you know, things are pretty good. My finances are starting to turn around a little bit, which has been helpful. You know, I'm not struggling so much. I mean, I'm still, you know, not balling by any stretch. I just have enough that I can buy groceries and buy gas and, you know, like pay for the basics right now. But the book's selling a couple copies every day on Amazon. I think I sold 7 copies actually a day, like 2 or 3 days last week, which was pretty cool. But I am also running some ads. But yeah, I'm just really enjoying it, man. I'm enjoying. I had somebody reach out to me recently. She's like a publicist, I guess, and she wants to help get me on television shows. She's like, you have a great story, and she's like, you know, she mentioned some big names. She was like, talked about Dr. Phil and Good Morning America and all these other names. Now I don't know if that's, you know, realistic. Might be. I mean, if the opportunity presented itself, of course I would love to go on and talk about the concept of waiting. I'd love to talk about CityFam. I'd love to talk about my faith. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But for now, I'm just kind of staying consistent and, you know, keeping my head down, my nose clean, and you know, just doing my best to work as hard as I can and stay out of trouble. That's, you know, that's really what I'm doing. So appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Terry Mitchell, I saw your comment. Thank you, brother. Love to hang out with you soon if we can make it happen. I think we're going to go see Creed 2 on Thanksgiving night, maybe. So, and yeah, so that's it, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.